So today we're going to do a short Apana Vayu practice that's really dedicated to releasing the nervous system towards the ventral vagal response, meaning down-regulating any stress. And we'll work with the cervical spine to engage in that activity, as well as looking out the corners of your eyes and releasing fascia. So you have a strap, we have two blocks, and we'll begin standing. Find your Tadasana, maybe feet are a little bit wider. And I just would love for you to take your strap and find a placement that your hands are wider than your shoulders, palms are face down, and then bring the strap above your head. So here is probably the hardest part, is just getting the width correct. And you want it to be of a nice width that there's no strain or stress in holding the strap. Once you feel you've achieved it, just coming up to soft gaze, long spine, chin slightly down, and we'll begin by breathing in, feel the breath moving down. And as you exhale, you're just going to bring the strap to one side, and you may feel a lot of tension on the upper arm, shoulder, even upper back, and we'll alternate side to side. As you do so, please guide the navel inward slightly, tailbone moves down slightly. You can even have your yoga sandals on, so inner and outer arches are both lifted. This just completes this connection of stability, security in the lower half of the body connected to the earth, so that the upper body can become free and can start to release. So I just would love for you to explore this. Maybe the hands are a little too close together or too far apart. And there's no hard rule here, but I do find that if you can turn your gaze towards the direction of the arms moving and feeling how the chin and the neck are placed, gives you an additional release. You can let the breath guide, exhaling, coming down, inhaling, rising up. And we'll just do this for about 30 more seconds. And I like to explore pulling the arms a little bit further away from my back body. So similar to a back bend here, but just exploring the shoulder girdle and releasing any tension in the shoulders, arms, neck, upper back. And you can start to feel how this is also connected and wraps around, down around the intercostal muscles of the rib cage, down and wrapping around the abdomen and all the way down into the hips and the ASIS, the bones of the pelvis. You can round the spine out a little bit. Again, the most important key factor is the yoga sandals on. Knees are facing over the toes. There's a slight engagement of the core. And then the upper body can feel a little more free to explore. I'm even sensing deeper in around the spinal column. And the next time you wind up I'm on my left side, so maybe that's your right if we're mirrored one another. Let's just pause here and do a nice lateral stretch. Once again, just being aware of where you're turning the head, and then go ahead and lift up, and we'll do the other side. So I like to exhale down, find my placement, and then inhale into that lateral. You can even bend that bottom elbow if you like, giving yourself a little more traction, even holding the palm or fist to the back of your body for stability. Remember, no hard, fast rules. It's really just to feel good, but also that feeling good comes from stability and anchoredness. Just a couple more. Might feel a release out of the side of the mouth or a yawn, blinking of the eyes. Nice. And then we'll come back to the arms are elevated. Maybe you want to stretch your fingers, just wiggle your fingers a little bit. And then here, we're just going to bring the arms from the front to the back. So once again, it's really, let's have a soft handle on the strap. It's really about the placement of where your hands are that determine how good or how bad this feels. And you don't want it to feel bad. So you can breathe in, rising the arms up. And as you exhale, again, pulling the navel in slightly, tailbone moves down, soft gaze. Inhale, the spine lengthens, the breath descends down. And as you can sense, this is really good for people who are at the computer all day, who are on their phones a lot, who are reading, doing crafts. If you make malas or you knit or crochet, all of these things can create this rounded upper back, upper body, and a forward head posture. So the releasing that Apana Vayu is dedicated to is also partially this releasing of the ambition of the intellectual, all the energy up in the head framework. So bringing energy down into the body. So you can see how it correlates with somatic embodiment. Embodiment, bringing the energy down. Let's see, one more. And down. Let's go ahead and release this strap. And just take a moment to feel you can shake out the arms all the way down through your fingers. Nice deep breath in, long breath out. And then hands either in prayer or on the body to come into the felt sensation of this moment. Quality of inhaling and exhaling. Find the smoothness of each, especially on your exhale. And releasing the hands, we're just going to bring the arms up. And I'm going to begin with our prayer, the Apana Vayu, and you can join in whenever you're ready. Swan diving forward. Om Namo Apanaya. Inhale, flat back. Step back to plank pose. Apanaya Nama, all the way down. Om. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Om Pranaya Swaha. Just resting here for a few breaths. The bottom of the next exhale, go ahead and look forward. Inhale, stepping forward. Flat back, exhale, release. Reverse swan dive on the in-breath. And exhale, hands to the heart. Let's repeat. Inhale. Om Namo Pranaya. Apanaya Nama. Om Apanaya Swaha. Inhale. Exhale, release. Reverse swan dive. And find your stance. All right, so let's get some movement to move things out. Doing some Himalayan cave rolling of the shoulders. Feeling the release of whatever has been stirred up. We'll alternate arms, using your elbows as guides, bending the knees alternately. So really feeling the fullness of this movement sweeping through the system, all the tissues, all the cells. Breathing out of the mouth whenever you like, shaking things out whenever you need. Good, and then we'll start to swing in our scissor arms. At first the arms are straight and you just feel the effects of what we did in the beginning of the practice. And then we move from the straight arms into the belt elbows, every alternating movement
to integrate at the brain, both hemispheres, which also helps to release whatever is deeply packed into the nervous system, we bring opposite arms on top with each round. Good, shaking it out. We'll go right into our swinging of the arms, letting gravity take away, let it bring it in and out and down with the movement. So not a lot of efforting here. Sometimes we have to effort to let go. Sometimes we just really have to let go to let go. Release can happen anywhere in the body from this arm movement. So let's now move into the diagonal stretches, lighting up side body, but you'll feel this like full diagonal line of energy from the fingertips down through the body to your toes. Sweep and release. Sweep and release. Let your breath guide. Or just let the movement guide if that feels easier, just for this particular round of Himalayan Caves. Going immediately into our twist with just a little gentle tap. And slowing it down, we're getting into shake it, shake it, shake it of the lymphatic system. So we're starting with one leg, getting all into the little nooks and crannies here. Nice deep breath in, long breath out. And shake, shake, shake the other side. Just short little moments here on each side, and we'll get into the full booty. We do store a lot of emotion here in the bottom half of the body. The glutes, pelvic floor, thighs, just feeling everything moving down and down. Shaking it out through the hands, down and down. Finding your moment of peace, adjusting and feeling into the embodiment of the now. Perhaps energy is descending down into the earth. And then we'll step back through into some warrior flows. So just 2 rounds of inhaling, the arms move forward, really feeling this front body stretch all the way down the torso, down the quadricep, down the front of your left leg to your toes. Just 2 rounds, and then we'll do these little dips. Your knee may or may not reach the floor. I want you to feel your strength and your capacity for structure and solidity to allow you the grace of being able to let go. 5 rounds total. And then on some shifting side to side, hands are on the hips. Yeah, so we're getting into the inner groin all the way up to the pelvic bowl. I love doing little twists here, opposite shoulder meeting the foot. If you want to reach down, you can do so. So really let this just be a playground for you before we come into the other side. Just a few more rounds. Find the warrior, coming in and out 2 times. So notice whatever your back foot is doing, you still want to feel nice and supported. When we go into the dips, you lift the heel up and the knee is directly pointing down. So if there were headlights on your hips, they're facing forward. Your front knee is just dropping down to be directly over your ankle, not any further. Don't want to stress the knees, so adjust as you need. Feel the power, the strength, your ability to let go sometimes requires strength. And then let's integrate here. So full sweeping down into these twists. And on your exhale, we're really planting the foot down, or planting the hand down, to lengthen the spine and open that upper chest. And the navel drawing in as you exhale can really guide this flow. So we're going to do this, but now chanting the mantra, prayer to the Vayu. Om Namo Apana Apanaya Namo. Om Apanaya Swaha. Just stay here for a moment. Just
Elevating the arm over the head to increase your twist like a lever. So inhale, exhale, pull the navel in. Om Namo Pranaya. So the twist comes from the belly, then the right shoulder and the right chest reach to the sky. Apanaya Namam. Om Apanaya Swaha. Hold for 3 breaths. And if you feel more comfortable with the block, whether it's a block here, beautiful, releasing, coming to center. And we'll do the other side. So hips level, props to support if you need them. We'll start to the left. Deep breath in. Om Namo Apana. Apanaya Nama. Om Apanaya Swaha. Using the arm as a lever to aid your twist. Om Namo Apanaya. Apanaya Nama. So you can feel how carrying all the responsibility, the weight on your shoulder, this also is able to be released. Om Apanaya Swaha. Letting go of whatever it is that you've been holding on to is the domain of Apana Vayu. And you can feel how when we couple this with our understanding of the nervous system and down regulating, how much more of an effect we have. Just coming up to standing, turning the feet towards the front and stepping to the front. That's coming to a standing splits. On your inhale, bring your left knee in towards the chest. On your exhale, press the foot up towards the sky. 4 more rounds. Inhale. Notice the quality of your exhale. Maybe it wants to be a little longer. And 3 more rounds with the prayer. Om Namo Pranaya. Apanaya Nama Om. So we still need a nice good inhale though. Om Apanaya Swaha. Stay here, lowering that leg parallel to the floor. Rising up, hands can be on the hips or in airplane mode, or arms can be in front of your head. Warrior 3. And then we'll come to standing. Just take a moment, palms to the front, tap the heels out. You can roll the hips a little bit. Just take a moment to adjust and feel. Notice how the energy is flowing. Perhaps working so much on the exhale, now you have a resistance on your inhale. So make sure you're inhaling, soften to allow it to come in. And standing splits on the left side. And we'll inhale, knee towards chest. Exhale, pressing the foot away. So pulling the navel in, let that hub guide you, the navel hub. Om Namo Pranaya. Apanaya Namo. Even bend that standing leg just a little bit because that sometimes feels really good. Om Apanaya Swaha. Finding the balance, softening the gaze, blink the eyes a few rounds. So you feel your strength in the downward movement of embodiment, of stability, of support. Adjust and feel. One last round standing. So the feet are a little bit smaller or in a little more slightly than just hips width apart. Hands can come down onto blocks or lotus hands. And we'll inhale, bend the knees through your arms. Exhale, straighten the legs. 9 more rounds. Cue at the navel for the exhale. Just that little lift here, Uddiyana Bandha. And you might feel how it also is lifting the pelvic floor, that area, pubic bone to navel, engage. Just trusting that this downward flowing energy is going to take the pain, the density, the worry, the fears, the angst, the old stories, what it is that is trapped in your tissues, in your nervous system, in your mind, in your muscles, and bring it down and out. Offer it to the earth for to be composted, offering it to the earth to be transformed. So whenever you've done 10 total, we'll just step the right leg back into this low lunge. And here I invite you to bring your blocks to the front. This gives you a little more elevation for the release of anything happening, any stuckness here in the torso, all the way up into the neck. You can even do a little back bend here if you like. And then we'll just work with letting your breath lead you, letting your desire move you at the manner of pace. And a pause, alternating side to side. When you come back up to the front, you're just springing from the toes. So there's an activation that's even happening around your feet. So you're feeling very acutely the feet, the legs, the strength of your feet touching the earth, the toes, pressing back into the earth. Good. Coming back to your standing forward fold. You can keep onto your block if you like and widen the leg just a little bit. Maybe you don't want the block. That's fine. I'm going to demo with the block. We bend that right knee. Inhale, left arm reaches up. And exhale, forward fold. Repeat. One more round. And then we can switch sides. No need for rigidity here, just allowing the body to feel almost like water, this like watery essence to release down into the earth. And then we'll come back into our squat malasana. You can take the block and sit on the block if that's more supportive today. Otherwise, finding your pose. 10 breaths. And if you can engage Mula Bandha pulses, that's even more effective for increasing Apana Vayu in this down and out release. Making sure your chin is slightly down to cap off the energy, Jala and Tarabanda. And when we come to sit down, we can do a little rounding of the spine, little stretch here, getting into the hips. Can even move the knees, alternating side to side. So you're just really getting into the hip flexors. Yeah. And then coming down, let's bring your right leg to the front and stretch your left foot back. So we're working the quadricep muscle here. I have a bit of an odd outfit to be doing demos today, so apologies, but I do have shorts on under this little dress thing. And here you can place your hands around the extended legs, just framing it, or even as far back as this left knee. Inhaling, the toes reach up to the sky, spine is long. Let's just float down on your exhale and float back up on your inhale. Remember, the whole idea here is release. It's a letting go and an allowance of letting that downward flowing energy that is so naturally a part of our body, a part of our lives, a part of nature to take over, to support our letting go. And the final one, you can stay in the fold. This 5 breaths. And we'll switch sides. Same thing, inhale first, exhale, float forward. Just notice the parts of you that are still holding back. Can you soften to release? Soften to relax. And even feel that there's an energy in the pelvic bowl that is governing the entire body's ability, the entire mind, deeper in the psyche, the conditionings and the belief systems to let go. So if you have a bolster or even I just have a block right here, but you can bring that to around the heart area and start to work your way back and reclining in a manner that is really stretching the quadricep. It's okay if the knee lifts a little bit. That actually protects the knee to allow it to lift, so you don't want to pin it down. But working the knee toward the ground, working on your exhales. 3 more breaths. And then to rise up, you can start to kind of bring your elbows back, pressing down onto the floor, coming up like a little kind of tick tock, a little pendulum side to side, rise, releasing that leg, bending the opposite knee. And again, just placing the block so it's about the area behind the heart. You can lift and lower it accordingly. And just relax back and breathe. So I actually have the edge of the block right on my brain stem, right at the area where it's supporting, kind of like a fold in the blanket would be the cervical curve of my neck. Feels really nice. Where are you holding that you can soften, let go just a little more? Maybe you're feeling a full unwinding of inside that left hip down into the pelvic floor. Even the yoni is has a sense of unwinding something deep. And then we'll start to slowly rise once again, just kind of working your way up mindfully. You don't want to come out quickly. That's often where we hurt ourselves, is coming out of postures. So we'll come lying down, and just our last pose, either Supta Baddha Konasana, which I really love, especially when you just hold on to the shins or the ankles and allow the legs to fall away from you. So the feet may touch or they may not. The arms are straight and it's very effortless. You're just hanging. But there's this major release that happens around the whole groin, pelvic floor. And this may be too much or feel a little vulnerable. So you can do happy baby instead if that works for you, or any variation. So just be here for 1 minute. I'm going to do the half straddles that are like a happy baby, but getting a little more into the underside of the legs. I get a lot of buildup of tension here in the hamstrings personally. So closing the eyes and just feeling the release, feeling the letting go. When we grasp, when we are attached to even the old stories, even our pains, because there are old familiars, they create an environment, these attachments create an environment for suffering and sorrow. Let's allow Apana Vayu to release the attachments, the ones that serve or the ones that don't serve, so that we can start to trust a little more, be in the moment a little more, be freed from the bindings of the past. And in this way, your yoga, your way of thinking becomes a love offering to the divine, a trust. Ishvara Pranidhan is the term. Trustful surrender. And then we'll start to slowly move in towards Shavasana. I could stay here forever. It feels so good. If you'd like to do just a few bridges, I know that feels a little good just to activate prior to Shavasana. Ah, and your last little release. And then making your way towards the final resting pose, creating the ambiance that you need to relax. And as you find your breath, feel free to begin with the variation of 75 breaths, where starting from the crown or even just the third eye, gathering the light of awareness here and letting that light wash down, replenishing the entire body, all the tissues to your feet, with this simple, sweet awareness of this moment. And then inhaling from your feet back to the crown. And do that a few rounds. Really carrying that light of awareness through the tissues, kind of scanning to release any accumulation, psychic debris, old stories. If Mr. Clean were a sage. This next exhale is working your way down to your ankles and then inhaling from ankles to crown, doing that a few rounds. Just trusting in Apana Vayu to do its job. And then down to the knees to crown, few rounds. Remembering that the ability to feel the sage and that light descending down to the knees and back up through into the crown is also a way of rewiring, reconditioning how you structure your thoughts and beliefs. You have the power to weed out the garden of the mind. And then on your next exhale today, we're actually going to go into the pelvic bowl. So from this third eye down into the pelvic bowl, into the womb belly, just allowing the beautiful clarity of sage wisdom replenish and fill and release here. in this area. Crown to wound belly to crown, 3 rounds. And then crown to the navel center to crown, a few rounds. Crown to heart, heart to crown, a few rounds. Crown to throat, throat to crown, a few rounds. Crown to the tip of the nose to the crown, a few rounds. Feel this clearing the pathway to your own knowing. And resting the awareness at the third eye, allowing everything else to dissolve, but the presence here at Agnya Chakra. And slowly we'll come back, moving the toes and then your fingers. You can give yourself a little smile, giving thanks for getting this far, and then slowly coming up. You can roll over to your side first, slowly coming up to a nice comfortable seat. And we'll do a practice that encourages Apana Vayu, beginning with the mudra Forefinger and thumb touch, creating a circuit of energy that when the palms are face down, circulates here at the pelvic bowl. So you may start to just tune in and feel and welcome this circulation. Feel it becoming enhanced with every inhale and exhale, the beautiful circulation at the womb belly and in the pelvic bowl. We'll utilize this force to gather whatever residue we've stirred up, kind of churning the pot, stirring the soup throughout the whole body by expanding your awareness on your inhale and letting it move down into the body, gathering whatever aches, pains, responsibilities, mental, physical, emotional residue, drawing it down. And as you exhale, just bringing it into this pelvic bowl area, kind of like drawing all the ingredients or everything down, all the storylines from the body, all the tissues into this soup pot at the pelvic bowl. Exhaling, you kind of filling, releasing, emptying everything into this pelvic bowl area. And do that repeatedly. Inhale, the awareness sweeps down through the body, and exhale, bringing it down and sort of seeding it or pouring it here into the pelvic bowl. And we won't be here for long. We're not going to keep all this stuff here, but this is the energy of this center. It's going to bring all that you wish to release, gathering it all up, letting this pot get really filled or the bucket really filled, whatever metaphor works for you. And then once you feel that you have gathered all that accumulated stuff, all of that residue stuff that's floating around, pulling it into your soup bowl or your bucket, then you can choose. Maybe you just want to empty the bucket. Maybe you want to take that soup bowl and make an offering to, in the mind's eye, a tree or a body of water. And so you can feel now as you inhale directly into the pelvic bowl that your exhale is the offering or the release. Feeling whatever it is that's accumulated and gathered here, draining down and out to the earth. And do that 5 to 10 more rounds. Inhale directly into the pelvic bowl. And as you exhale, you're either emptying the bucket or you're emptying the soup bowl, making an offering. And then just closing with honoring this force with the prayer to Apana Vayu. Om Namo Panaya, Apanaya Nama Om Apanaya Swaha. Namaste.